It was a quiet night. The stars outside were shining, and the city lights looked like tiny diamonds from the windows of the tall hotel. Mr. Ronan, the owner of the Grand Crest Hotel, couldn't sleep. He had everything a man could want: a big business, a nice suit, expensive cars, and a view from the top floor. But sleep didn't come easy these days. His mind was full. So he got out of bed, put on his slippers, and stepped out for a walk. He didn't take any guards with him. He didn't need to. This was his hotel. Every floor, every hallway, every light switch, he paid for it. Still, something felt strange that night. The air was cold and the halls were too quiet. As he walked past the 10th and 11th floors, he noticed the cleaning signs were still up. That was odd. Usually his staff finished cleaning by midnight. He decided to go to the 12th floor. That floor had executive rooms, very private, very expensive. As he walked toward the men's restroom, he heard a soft noise, not a voice, not a machine, something soft, like breathing. He pushed the door open slowly. The lights were dim, and the air smelled of soap and floor polish. Everything looked clean, but then he noticed something strange in the corner stall. The door wasn't fully closed, and there was a shadow inside. He stepped closer and stopped. Inside the stall was a woman. She was wearing a green cleaning uniform. Her head was resting against the wall, her legs pulled up to her chest. She was asleep, sitting on the toilet seat. Ronan blinked. Was he seeing things? A cleaning lady asleep? In the men's bathroom. She looked young, maybe in her early 30s. Her brown hair was tied back, but messy. Her face looked tired, with dark lines under her eyes. Her shoes were worn out. Her hands, folded in her lap, were rough and cracked from work. He didn't say anything at first. He just stood there watching. Why was she sleeping here? Why not in the staff break room, and why in the men's bathroom? He noticed a half-empty bottle of water on the floor and a small notebook beside her. She had no blanket, no pillow, nothing. Soft, just cold tiles and a toilet seat. Ronan slowly stepped back, careful not to make noise. He didn't want to scare her. He walked to the sink and looked at himself in the mirror. "What is going on?" he whispered. He had hired over 200 staff in this hotel. He trusted his managers to take care of them. He paid them well. Or, at least he thought he did. Then why was one of his cleaning ladies sleeping in a bathroom stall? He turned back and looked at her again. Her head had fallen slightly to one side. She looked peaceful but completely exhausted. Something about her face made his heart beat faster. He couldn't explain it, but he felt like he had seen her before. Somewhere. Long ago. He looked around again. No cameras in the restroom, of course. No one else was there. Ronan slowly walked out and closed the door behind him, but he didn't leave the floor. He waited near the hallway, hiding from view, checking his watch every few minutes. 15 minutes passed. Then he heard the door open. The woman stepped out. She looked left and right quickly, making sure no one saw her. Her body moved slowly, like someone carrying too much pain. She fixed her name tag. It read, Maria S. She picked up her mop and started cleaning the hallway as if nothing had happened. Ronan didn't say a word. He just watched. Who was she? Why? Did she look so familiar? And what kind of life makes a woman sleep in a restroom stall at 2 a.m.? He took a deep breath. This wasn't just some tired worker. Something was wrong. Very wrong. And he was going to find out, because Ronan had a rule. No one who works under his roof should ever have to suffer in silence. Not in his hotel. Not ever. Maria felt something cold on her back. She opened her eyes quickly. The light above her was still flickering. Her neck hurt, her legs had gone numb. She sat up fast, breathing hard, confused about where she was. Then it hit her. The toilet seat. The cleaner's uniform. The mop outside the stall. She was still at the hotel. Oh no, she whispered. She looked at her watch. 2:17 a.m. She had only meant to sit down for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes to rest her feet. But her body had given up. She'd fallen asleep again. panic filled her chest. If the supervisor caught her like this, she could lose her job. And she couldn't afford to lose this job. Not now. Maria stood up, rubbing her face quickly. She picked up her small notebook from the floor, shoved it into her pocket, and opened the stall door. Her legs felt weak, but she forced herself to stand tall. She peeked outside. No one was there. She grabbed the mop and quietly walked out, trying to look normal. Her heart was still racing. She fixed her name tag and tried to brush her hair back with her hands. Her fingers were shaking. But she didn't know. Someone had seen her. Someone who never walked these halls at night. Mr. Ronan stood silently down the hallway, hidden behind the corner. He watched her every move. His eyes didn't leave her face. He noticed everything. How fast she looked around, how her hands shook, how scared she seemed. And something else. She looked like someone he used to know. But he couldn't remember. Who? It was a feeling, a memory just out of reach. Maria walked slowly toward the elevators, heading to clean the 11th floor. She didn't see him. She didn't know he was following. Ronan didn't understand what was happening yet, but he knew one thing. This wasn't just a tired worker. This woman had a secret, and he was going to find out what it was. Flashback begins. Short emotional glimpse. As Maria mopped the floors in silence, her mind drifted. She thought of her daughter, 8 years old, asleep in their small apartment downtown. Maria hadn't seen her much lately. Too many shifts, too many nights. She remembered the landlord's voice that morning. "Rent's late again, Maria. I can't wait forever." She remembered the doctor's voice last week. "She needs medicine or it could get worse." She remembered her own mother's voice long ago. "You don't cry, Maria, you fight." So Maria fought, every day, every night, even if it meant falling asleep in a bathroom. Back in the hallway, Ronan walked to the same spot Maria had just cleaned. He stood there thinking, why didn't she go to the staff rest area? Why didn't she ask for help? And why did he feel like he owed her something? Ronan walked to the staff records room. He needed to know more. He needed her file, but when he asked for the cleaning staff list, something strange happened. "Maria S., the night manager said. "She's not on the regular roster. She only works when we call in temps, maybe once or twice a week." "Who hires her?" Ronan asked. The manager scratched his head. I think third-party agency. You know, one of those cheap contracts we brought in last month." Ronan frowned. He didn't like that. He never approved cutting corners when it came to staff care. Why hadn't he been told about these contract workers? Why was she falling through the cracks? And why did she look like someone from his past? Maria rushed through the hallway, her cart full of towels, soaps, and cleaning spray bottles. Her back ached and her eyes burned from lack of sleep, but she kept moving. She had already cleaned 4 floors that night. Only 2 more to go. As she turned a corner to enter the VIP suite hallway, she didn't notice that something slipped out of her pocket. It was small, folded, just a piece of old paper, but very important. The cleaning cart rolled over it. Then silence. The hallway was empty again, or so she thought. Meanwhile, Mr. Ronan had gone back to his office. He still couldn't sleep. The image of Maria sleeping on the toilet haunted him. It didn't feel right. She wasn't just tired. She looked like someone carrying a whole world of pain. And that face, it kept bothering him. Where had he seen her before? He pulled out a dusty photo album from the bottom drawer of his desk, one he hadn't opened in years. He flipped through pictures from the old hotel, from fundraisers, from charity events. Suddenly, he froze. A picture of a woman, younger, smiling, with a little girl in her arms. And that woman looked just like Maria, but it couldn't be. That woman was supposed to be dead, back in the VIP hallway. Maria knocked gently on the last suite door. No answer. Good. It was empty tonight. She cleaned it quickly, folded the towels just right, and took a deep breath. Just one more hallway to go. As she turned her cart and walked away, she heard a voice behind her. "Excuse me." Maria spun around. It was one of the night security guards. "Yes?" she asked, surprised. "You dropped this," he said, holding out a folded paper. Maria's eyes widened. Her hands trembled as she took it. "Thank you," she whispered, but her voice was shaking. The guard walked away, not noticing the fear in her eyes. Maria rushed to a storage room and locked the door behind her. She unfolded the note with shaking hands. Inside were two things: a picture of a young girl, maybe 8 years old, smiling at the camera. A small handwritten sentence: "Mommy will find a way. Always." Tears filled Maria's eyes. She had written that note 3 months ago on her daughter's birthday. She kept it with her at all times, for strength. But if anyone had found it, they'd know her secret. Maria stepped out of the storage room, her face pale and her hands still shaking. She looked left, then right. The hallway was empty, but something didn't feel right. She pushed her cleaning cart forward, trying to act normal. The wheels squeaked. On the marble floor, the lights above flickered slightly, just enough to make her uneasy. She could feel it. Someone was watching her, down in the control room. The second guard, the one who saw the note, sat in front of a screen. He was watching the hotel's security cameras. One camera followed Maria as she moved through the hallway. He pressed a button. "Target is moving toward the east wing," he said into his radio. A voice replied, "Don't let her leave, Mr. Harrow." "Wants the note back." The guard frowned. "She's just a cleaner. Why is it so important?" The voice on the other end replied coldly, "She's not just a cleaner. That note could destroy him." The screen flickered and the camera zoomed in on Maria's face. She looked tired, but she also looked like someone who had been running for too long. Back upstairs, Maria finally reached the laundry room. She pushed the cart in and let out a sigh. She was safe for now. She locked the door behind her. Then she opened her jacket and took out the folded note again. Her fingers traced the picture of her daughter. "Almost there, baby," she whispered. "Just 1 more week." She had a plan. She was saving every penny. In 1 week, she would leave this city, change her name again, and take her daughter far away. No more hiding. No more fear. But deep down, she knew. They were getting closer. At that same moment, Mr. Ronan had just finished going through more old documents in his office. He found the old contract, the one Maria had helped him avoid. He had almost lost his hotel in that deal. If she hadn't warned him back then, he wouldn't be where he was today. Why would someone like her end up as a cleaner? He asked himself. He stood up and called his assistant. "I want full records on a woman named Maria Navarro. She worked here under a different name. Check employee files. She was a cleaner, night shift." His assistant sounded confused. "Sir, that name, it was blacklisted years ago by Mr. Harrow." Mr. Ronan's eyes narrowed. "Harrow?" "Yes, sir. He ordered all files deleted, said she was a threat." Ronan's heart started pounding. Why would his business partner, Mr. Harrow, blacklist a cleaner? Unless she knew something. Back in the hotel laundry room, Maria finished folding towels and packed her small bag. Her shift was over. She opened the laundry door slowly. The hallway was empty. She stepped out quietly, but didn't notice the shadow behind her. The second guard followed her from a distance, walking silently. Maria took the service elevator, unaware of the blinking red light above it. A camera was watching her every move. As she stepped out into the basement parking lot, the wind blew her hair into her face. She pulled her hood up and began walking quickly toward the exit. Suddenly, a car engine started. A black SUV pulled out of the shadows and blocked her path. Maria froze. 2 men stepped out. "Where do you think you're going, Maria?" "One," of them said with a smirk. She gripped her bag tight. "I'm just going home." One man stepped closer. "We need that paper you're carrying." Maria's heart dropped. They knew. Just then, another car's headlights flashed behind them. A sharp voice rang out. Back away from her, it was Mr. Ronan. He stepped out of his car, holding up his phone. "I already called the police. You have 30 seconds. The men looked at each other, then jumped back in the SUV and drove off. Maria fell to her knees, shaking. Ronan ran over to her. "Are you okay?" She nodded, tears in her eyes, but her voice was broken. "You don't understand. If they know I'm still alive, they'll come for me. And my daughter. Mr. Ronan helped her up gently. Then we won't let them. But I need to know everything. From the start, Mr. Ronan sat across from Maria in his private office. The lights were low. A soft rain began to fall outside the tall glass windows. Maria held a cup of tea in her trembling hands. She didn't speak for a long time. She just stared at the floor, as if she were afraid to say too much. Ronan didn't push her. He just waited. Finally, Maria took a deep breath and began. Her voice was soft but heavy with pain. My real name is Maria Navarro. I used to work for a government agency, not here but back in my country. I was an analyst. I never held a gun. I didn't chase criminals. I just read files. Emails, documents. She looked up at him. And one day, I saw something I wasn't supposed to see. Ronan leaned in slightly. What did you see? She hesitated, then opened her bag and pulled out a worn paper. She placed it on his desk. It was a printed email, with names, numbers, and signatures. Ronan read it once, then again, and his face turned pale. It was an agreement, a secret deal, between a few powerful men, including Mr. Harrow, Ronan's business partner. They had moved large amounts of money from charities and hospitals to secret accounts overseas. Billions were gone, and the paper trail was buried, or so they thought. But Maria had saved the last surviving copy. I printed it the night I found it. The next morning, the office was locked down. People disappeared. I ran. A dangerous escape, Maria continued. I left everything behind. My job, my name, my home. I had no choice. They came after me. They tried to take my daughter. Her voice cracked at that part. But I got to her first. We ran. Changed cities, changed names. I cleaned houses, worked night shifts. Anything to stay hidden. Ronan listened in silence. He had worked with Harrow for over a decade, but he never knew this. And now, it made sense. Why Harrow had been acting strange lately, why he always seemed nervous around certain audits, and why he had blacklisted a simple cleaning lady. Ronan's mind was racing. If this paper got out, Harrow would be ruined. But more than that, many rich, powerful men would fall. Maria's life was still in danger, and she had been carrying this secret alone for years. You could have gone to the press, Ronan said. She shook her head. They would never believe me. And they control the media. Then why keep the paper? He asked. Her answer was quiet. For my daughter. If something ever happened to me, I wanted her to know the truth. I wanted someone to keep fighting. He made a promise, mister. Ronan stood up slowly. He walked over to his office safe and opened it. He placed the paper inside, locked it, and turned to her. You're safe now, I promise. No more running. Maria looked at him, unsure. They won't stop, she whispered. Then, let them come, Ronan said. They'll have to go through me. He paused. But I'll need your help if we want to expose them. We need more than this paper. We need proof. More names. More records. Can you help me? Maria took a deep breath and nodded. Yes. I still remember everything. Meanwhile, down in the dark corner of the hotel's underground garage, a black car sat idle. Inside, Mr. Harrow was watching a screen. He had bugged Ronan's office. He had heard everything. His face was cold. He turned to the man sitting beside him, the same man who had chased Maria earlier. Change of plans, Harrow said. She's not just a problem now, she's a threat. He leaned forward. I want both of them gone. The next morning, the hotel felt different. Mr. Ronan sat at his desk, eyes heavy but determined. He had stayed up all night planning. Maria was beside him, quiet but ready. They both knew that from now on, nothing would be the same. A dangerous plan. Ronan pulled out his phone and called a trusted old friend, a journalist known for exposing corruption. I have a story that will change everything, Ronan said. Maria listened carefully. We need to gather proof, bank records, emails, secret deals. Harrow and his friends covered their tracks well. But we will find a way. Maria nodded. I know where to start. The agency I worked for? I saved some encrypted files. If we can crack the code, we will have the proof. The first steps, they spent hours searching Ronan's office. Hidden behind old files and locked drawers, Maria found a small USB drive. It has the files, she said softly. Ronan's eyes widened. This is it. This could bring them down. They agreed to keep the files secret and work quietly. Every move they made could be watched. The enemy watches. Meanwhile, in a dark room filled with screens, Harrow was furious. They have the files. They think they can fight me? He slammed his fist on the table. No, we will stop them. Harrow sent men to follow Ronan and Maria. He wanted to find the USB drive and destroy it, and anyone who tried to use it. A close call. That evening, Maria left the hotel to meet a hacker friend who could decrypt the files. She walked quickly, her heart pounding. Suddenly, a car stopped beside her. Two men got out, blocking her way. Give us the USB, one said. Maria's hands trembled, but she held firm. No. Just then, headlights flashed. It was Ronan's car. Ronan jumped out and shouted, "Leave her alone!" The men backed off and ran to their car. Ronan helped Maria inside. Too close, he said. We need to be more careful. Building trust back at the hotel, Maria and Ronan shared their fears. Maria spoke quietly. I have never trusted anyone since I ran. But with you, I feel hope. Ronan smiled softly. We will fight this together, for your daughter, for justice. The secret fight begins days past with secret meetings, code breaking and careful planning. They worked quietly, always watching their backs. Ronan's hotel became their safe place, but Harrow's reach was long. They knew the battle would not be easy, but they were ready. The tension in the hotel was thick. Mr. Ronan sat at his desk, staring at the decrypted files spread before him on the screen. Every name, every number, every secret deal was now clear. He looked over at Maria. She was tired but determined. This is it, he said quietly. We have the proof. A risky move, Ronan called his trusted journalist friend. Tomorrow the story goes live, he said. The world will know everything. Maria nodded, her hands shaking. This could change our lives. Forever, Diaz. Calm. Before the storm that night, Maria couldn't sleep. She sat by the window thinking about her daughter. Would she be safe? Would she ever see her mother's fight end? The attack. Suddenly, the hotel's emergency alarm blared. Ronan jumped up. Stay. Here, he told Maria. I'll check. In the dark hallway, Ronan found the door to the server room forced open. Men in black masks were inside, trying to destroy the evidence. Ronan rushed to call security, but the men had already planted a device to erase the files. Maria's courage. Maria ran to the server room just in time. She shouted, Stop, don't erase it. One man turned to her, angry, but Maria stood firm. I know what you're hiding. I have already sent copies of everything to trusted people. The men hesitated. Suddenly, hotel security arrived and arrested the intruders. The truth revealed. The next morning, Ronan and Maria watched the news. The story was everywhere. Names of corrupt men were on every channel. Harrow was arrested. A new beginning, Maria hugged Ronan. For the first time, I feel free, Ronan smiled. This is just the beginning. Together, we can make things right. But danger still lurks as they celebrated. A shadow watched from afar. Harrow's men were not finished. The fight for justice was far from over.